Okay, so we're recording. So welcome to the amazing Jess Fuller, one of my besties in the Juice Plus business. I don't even know. I think she's been a part of it for 18 months maybe. She's an NMD, 39, nearly 50 club. She can tell you more of her story, but I just really wanted her to jump on tonight. We're so blessed to have cool people like this in our team. She doesn't gain anything financially from being on here. She's a sideline buddy, but I know that she resonates with a lot of girls on here. Lots of you are mamas, and she's got two crazy kids, and been able to build a very, very successful, awesome business. She's got lots of gold to share. I just kind of wanted her to share her story. You've heard it a few times. If you saw her at conference or if you saw her at the Sydney Summit, she shared her story a few times, but I think sharing her gold about how she's been able to create an awesome business in record time. Yeah, not everyone gets to NMD in the small amount of time she did, but I think it's easy to compare ourselves. I compared myself to Jess when she first came on the block. I was like, who is this girl? I don't want to be friends with her. She seems far too good. And then I met her and we both were like shaking, talking in front of like 30 people. And now we make jokes about it. But now she's become such an awesome friend. So I wanted her to jump on, share her story, and be able to share her gold with you about how she's been able to do what she's been able to do. So Jess, all yours.
Oh, thank you. So thanks for calling me cool, by the way. That's awesome. Thank you. No, it's a real pleasure to be on. Lauren was definitely an inspiration of mine when I got started. You were just really consistent and you were definitely out there, and I took a lot from you when I was getting started as well. And yes, I remember that first meeting. We were petrified, and I still am not great at public speaking, but it gets better, and I kind of think that I'm just talking to friends because I'm sure we will be one day, like we'll all meet at some point. So, that's how I kind of try and think of it. I started Juice Plus 18 months ago. And if we take it back a little bit, before that, I was a personal trainer. And before that, I was in retail management for about a decade. And I spoke about this at the summit. There was a few strikes in traditional business, that corporate world, that really led me to know that there was something more and that there was a pull. Like for me, I was being pulled in a direction that I had to sort of follow, and I knew what I was doing wasn't what I was meant to be doing. I always had a really strong work ethic and did really well in whatever I did, but there was just stuff like, 6 months after I had my first baby, I was back at full-time work. That sucked. And then 6 months before my second baby was born, so they're 2 years apart. They're 3 and 5 now, just so you know, they're a bit crazy. 6 months before Lara was born, Mason actually was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, which was caused him to have blisters all over his body and get arthritis as well. And so he was 18 months old and couldn't walk, and he had to go to daycare 5 days a week. And it was the breaking point for me was when the kindy teacher or the daycare teacher, said, when I picked him up, said he's been on the cushion all day. And that just broke my heart. And I took early leave, so it was 6 months before I was due to have Lara, and about maybe 5 months, and at that point. And then it was a little bit too early for me to actually receive any parental leave payments or anything. And I worked for the company for a decade. So I was like, and I resigned and I never went back. And I used that time to really transition into the health and fitness industry. And I became a personal trainer. And I loved that. It was a real passion of mine. And you wouldn't think so now, because I literally go to the gym like twice a week. And that's only because I have a personal trainer. So I just didn't go. But it's just, yeah, so I do try and go. But at the time, it was definitely a massive part of my life because I struggled with depression through pregnancy and when I had my first, and I know that nutrition and exercise really helped me get through that. So I wanted to impact other people. And yeah, so I did that. 6 months into that, my husband was made redundant from his job. He'd worked in 12 years with the same company. So it was like strike after strike. And I was like, oh my God, like this is ridiculous. And then, yeah, we were on a holiday and I remember where I was. I was in a hotel room in Vegas. And I remember thinking, this cannot be my life forever. And everyone's like, what do you mean you're in Vegas? No, it was not that. It was the fact that I was going back to a rat race. I was going back to trading all my time for dollars. And I didn't know if my clients were going to be there, if they were just going to have a longer holiday and, you know, this, that, and the other. And I was really anxious. And at the time, a friend of mine was reaching out to me about Juice Plus, and I was the really awesome friend that ignored her for ages. You know, like, stop sending me links because I don't have time to watch them. Like, why do you keep sending me all these links? And I'm so grateful that she persisted. And, you know, she tells me that, you know, when someone asked her who was her dream team, she only had one. And I'm like, that's an amazing ego boost. So, because it was me. So I'm just so grateful that she persisted with me. And because she knew, like, we had talked about, you know, we'd really talked about our dreams together like years prior. So she kind of just knew. And she was like, Jess, like, you need to sit and look at this. And I went, okay, let's catch up when I get back from my holiday. And yeah, and then what I liken it to is if you're in a thunderstorm and it's pitch black and then there's a lightning strike and for a second you can see everything like daylight. That's what it was for me. Like, I could see the future. I just knew exactly what was out there. And then, you know, it all goes dark again and I knew I had to get to work, but I couldn't unsee that opportunity. I could not go back I couldn't not pursue it, okay, because I saw that it was everything that I wanted. I wanted time freedom. I wanted to travel. I wanted financial freedom. I wanted to create wealth, which is really, really difficult to do in traditional business when they're, you know, traditional business employee, employer, that it's designed to keep you just over broke. It's designed to not pay you enough to ever get ahead, but pay you enough to let you get by. So I wanted more. I knew I wanted more. And that pull, you know, and so basically I saw the opportunity. I went, you know what, if someone else can do it, I can do it. I became like a crazy person and I was like dreaming about Juice Plus. Like, I would watch as much YouTube as I could. I was like watching every NMD speech recording. I'm like, it's a done deal. In my mind, it was done. Like, this is going to happen and this is what I'm doing now. And that's what I tell people when they're getting started is you've got to have that belief. You've got to act as if it's happened before it's even happened. You need to be the leader before you have a team. You need to just act as if you are an NMD, act as if you've got this, your dreams have come true, and go out with that excitement. Like, that's what you need. You need to get excited about what we have, what the future is, the future holds. So I became a crazy person and I was just, you know, going, like, I just wanted to know everything. But in the same sentence, I was definitely what they call ignorance on fire. I didn't wait around. Like, I had no idea what was normal in terms of time frames to get things done by. So, you know, I just sort of set my goals. So I was like, okay, I knew sales coordinator was the top commission level. So I was like, cool, I'll get there in the first month. That was me. I was like, yep, I'll just tick that one off and get there. Now, I am what, there's a few types of people, and there's the, the realist, and there's the visionary, and there's also a pessimist, which, none of us are that, because we wouldn't be doing this if we were. But the realist is, someone who sets goals, knows they're going to hit them, hits them like most of the time, if not all the time. And then the visionary is that, they set their goals very high, and 99% of the time they don't hit them in that time frame. That's me. Like, I can tell you this whole journey for me, I've never hit a goal that I set for myself in the time frame that I've set, except for my NMD promotion. Okay, so like, let that sink in. Like, I've failed at all my goals, but what's happened is that I've aimed a lot higher, and my business has ended up better off. And I mean, I get there in the end. So my first goal was sales coordinator, and I was like, cool, I'll get that done in a month. Now, that didn't happen. However, it happened in 40 days. So that's like relatively fast to tick that promotion off. But I didn't know any better. All I knew was the compensation plan. All I knew was, okay, SDVF, I need 2 of them, I need 1 of them, and that's just what we did. So having a really good understanding of the compensation plan, if you're a bit sketchy on it, it's really difficult to like be on that mission to get it done as well. And it's a beautiful comp plan, so it's worth just following it. It's just a system, so that was my first goal. And then I was like, okay, cool, so senior sales coordinator I'll do in the next month. So again, didn't know. I didn't have time to like when does this normally happen? I don't know. So I went, okay, then that's great. So it didn't happen in that month. It happened in my 3rd month. Okay, so it was about just over 3 months that I went senior sales coordinator. And then, then it was a few months from there to Q, and then it was 6 months between Q and NMD. So I promoted to NMD in my 15th month in the business to the day. Actually, 15 months to the day. I don't not even know how that happened, but it was bizarre. That's when the pay line ticked over. And that was my goal. When I went Q, I set that goal, and I was very excited to hit that. Actually, one of my goals in the time frame that I set. So so that's sort of my story and how I've come to where I am right now. And the last 3 months have been really just amazing. We went NMD 24, 39, and we're going to tick 50 off this month. So that's really exciting. We've got some just amazing, amazing people in the team, and we've all sort of got that common vision, and it's really, really exciting. So Lauren, what else did you want me to go over there? Like, any more of my story there?
Sorry, I've just been writing. I don't have a notepad, but I have a really large notepad. Amazing. And I think this girl taught me so much about like, I am the realist, always have been my whole life. So to step out of that, I've never been a pessimist. I've always been glasses overflowing. But like, let's not get too cray-cray. Yeah. But Jess didn't know any better. And I think that's the biggest thing, and I wrote it down, is no idea what is normal. And I think that's something we all go through. It's like, in this business, like, you have 10 days to hit this, and you have 30 days to hit this, and 60 days. And what about if you just had no idea what was normal and you just had those big dreams? Because I know there's so many people in this team that are realists like me, but there's some visionaries too. And I think it's just really important to remember we all work really differently. So Jess, I know you've had lots of stuff go on in your journey. You wouldn't say that it's like the smoothest sailing ride you've ever been on. It never is, right? So can you just talk a little bit about, you said here, like, a lot of your team have common vision, you know, their commonalities there. And I guess I see you as an all excuses are equal. You're a bit of a lone sleeper with the world. AE. Kind of how do you adopt that within your team? And I guess what are some of the excuses you could have had along the journey to say, well, no, I'll just sit back and it'll happen when it happens, instead of like holding on to that dream?
Oh my God, that's actually my pet hate, is it'll happen when it happens. It'll happen next month. Like, you know, that is one thing that within the team, like, it's kind of, we don't hope and we don't try. That's the two things. Like, I'll try and I hope it'll happen. No, you will, and it will. Like, that's like the mantra. So, you know, if I've heard like through the grapevine that someone has gone like, is like really wanting a promotion or, you know, to qualify or something, and then they've taken their foot off the pedal in like a week beforehand because they're like, oh, it's, you know, it's just so, you know, like out of reach, I will pick up the phone and I'm like, right, you know, we do not give up. We do not give up. We do not like put the brakes on right before the finish line. This is a month-to-month business, not 3 weeks out of the month. You know, like, it is all the way to the end of the month, and then you go for the whole next day as well, because you just don't know what's going to happen. So it really is like, that's kind of what we embed into the team, is that we don't give up. And we don't have excuses. We definitely are in no excuses zone. And, you know, like, I can tell you, and, you know, some of you might know my story, that last, you know, the month that I promoted to NMD, it was something that was happening in the background to everybody in the team, and we're all going for NMD and everyone's going for different promotions. But my marriage was ending. And, you know, like, I remember it was a very difficult time. But my husband left 2 weeks before my promotion. So for me, that's really hectic, and it's not anything that, you know, I'm not saying this is it's going to happen or anything like that, but it's one of those things that, my God, it was that biggest face down moment of my life. And I had to really dig deep and go, you know, like, I had to reassess my why really fast, because my why was actually to get my husband off work so that he could spend more time with the kids. So for me, knowing that that wasn't going to happen anymore, I kind of had to reassess that. And I'm like, well, no, like, there was a lot of stories that I was telling myself when I was in that face down. You know, I was like, oh my God, I don't deserve it. How am I supposed to do this? You know, the man that was there for the last 12 years supporting me isn't there anymore. So you can't do this anymore. You can't do this as a single mum. All of these things, like, you start telling yourself these stories until you get to the truth, which is actually, yes, I can. And this is what I'm meant to be doing. I found something that I'm passionate about, and I'm not ever going to apologize for loving what I do, because I like, at the end of the day, I absolutely love doing this, you know, and helping other people do this as well. So it was really that choice where I've gone, well, no, I get to choose right now who I'm going to be going forward. And for those that know me, I'm a bit of a princess, and, you know, I don't do a lot of things for myself, but now I have to. So it was very, very difficult for me, because I was like, oh my God, like, you know, the wheelie bins, they don't get put out for a long time. Like, I forget every week, things like that. But it's okay. Like, you know, so I had to sort of go, right, who am I going to be when I get back up from this, like, absolute shit fight? And I'm not you know, like I was not about to go and put my dream down and go curl up in a corner and, you know, write it off. No, because there was so much, like this isn't about, and at the end of the day, this isn't about me either. This is about empowering people and helping people realize that, you know what, anything can happen. Anything can happen, but you actually have the choice as to how you get through that. And there's a lot of people that go, Jess, you're just so positive and this, that, and the other. I'm like, yeah, because I've got so much to be happy about. Yes, one element of my life kind of didn't go to plan, but I also believe that everything happens for a reason. So I see the opportunity and the positive side of everything. So yeah, like it was major difficult time, but we got up, we got the promotion done, and it's getting better and better, and it's only been like 5 months, but I do feel that you know, that time was what a warrior.
Warrior princess.
I don't know. What a warrior princess. But you know, like I look at everything, like I always see the opportunity, and I feel like I'm actually stepping into more and more like the truest version of me every day, you know. So that's kind of one of the big things. And this is another thing, like it's you know, and I spoke about this at conference as well. It's not like there's this business and this industry is as predictable as it is unpredictable. So the predictable things are like the challenges, I mean, that we can come across. People are going to say no. People are going to cancel their orders. Team members are going to get started and do nothing. Team members are going to like just, you know, go missing in action. People aren't going to get along. Like there's all sorts of things like that, but we know that stuff. Like, so it's like, oh yeah, we know that's going to happen, you know, but what's going to happen and what are you going to do when the unpredictable things happen, the things that slam you from left field? That's that resilience muscle that I was talking about. It's what is it that you're going to tell yourself, and how are you going to get through those things? So, because this opportunity, you know, like, yes, you can put it down. Yes, you can go and have a pity party if you feel like it. But at the end of the day, like, you're always in a position to inspire and, you know, empower people to, you know, to chase their dreams as well. So really thinking about that, going, well, what would I do if something just totally unexpected happened? And Christine Drummond always talks about the 4 Ds, the death, debt, divorce, and what's the other one?
Disease,
yeah. 4 things. Like, what would you do? Like, you know, and I think at the end of the day, you've got to have just that rock solid belief that this industry, this company, this product, everything is will give you everything, and it will have your back. And then to follow on from that, the gratitude that I have for this business, I've only understood the power of this industry like very recently, because I don't know what I would have done if I had to go back to work. Like I would not have been able to financially support myself. I wouldn't have been able to be around for my kids because I'd be working so much, you know. And I sit there and I'm like, you know what? We're sweet. We are more than sweet. And it's because of a vision that I had, and I'm going to provide for my kids one way or another, you know, and this is the way. So, yeah, like I've been able to be there for my kids and be there for me, you know, and I'm so, and still have a check that grows every month when I had a bit of a holiday, which is to be expected. I gave myself a little bit of a holiday, you know, in that following month. So, yeah, so the gratitude that I have for the, you know, the industry and the business, like it's gold. Like I absolutely adore it. Yeah, so that was on a really big tangent.
I
Sorry.
like a good tangent. I like a good tangent.
That's
I linked it back
that's
around.
it. Yeah, no excuses.
No excuses.
Yeah.
No excuses. No, I think it's amazing. Obviously, watching your journey, and being part of it, and you know, on the sidelines, cheering you on, of course, as the good cheerleader I am. No, I'm becoming really good friends with you. It's been amazing to watch you, and yeah, I have no idea what I would have done in that sort of situation, but I think it's just been amazing what you've been able to, and then showing your team what's possible, right? Because then you're like, hey, I've done it. I've been through the worst. This business has your back. So going on from that, I just want to ask you a couple more questions. So loads of the guys on here are newish, loads of new people on here. So I loved what you said before, because even for me, like, you know, I teach this all the time. People will do what they've always done. People will come in and do nothing, cancel, like orders will cancel. We can do the best job we can in customer care and all that. But some people will just do what they've always done, right? So kind of, how do you help your team through those times, of, you know, or how do you get through those times too? Because looking out, we could go, oh my God, Jess has this amazing business, but how many people have you had to go through to find those diamonds is definitely the key.
I think it's really funny. Like if anyone looks at my journey and goes, oh my God, it looks so graceful. Oh my God. Like, oh my God, you don't even like, no, like it's, it is not graceful. And I can tell you, this is not easy, but it's really simple. Okay. Like we have a system, commit to personal growth. I kid you not, like you've just got to go, you know what? You can't go and blame, shame, justify. This is a, like, you know, as Jeff Roberti says, it's a personal development course cleverly disguised as a business. Like, take that in, because it is exactly that. So as you go through, you're going to hit challenges, like guaranteed. Now, statistically, a lot of people are just going to run for the hills and go, whoa, that's way too hard. I don't want to deal with that. I'm going to stay right here in my comfort zone and go back to my job, which I know I can do, and I know I can get a paycheck, and that's okay. I'll just leave that dream for a little bit longer. All right. So I think it's important to understand when you get to a challenge, can't get team members started, can't get team on board, can't get customers, there's fires starting in your team, there's, you know, people not liking each other, like whatever it is. It's just an opportunity to grow. That's it. Every time you feel like you're like, what the hell do I do here? You've just got to go. Like, remember this. Ask yourself the question, what do I need to learn? That's it. What do I need to learn? It's like a mantra. What do I need to learn? What do I need to learn? And I'm feeling frustrated. What do I need to learn? Okay, so if you can ask yourself that question and learn something, whatever it is, as quickly as possible, you're going to move through that, you know, and be able to grow. And when you get through a challenge, you have grown to the next level. And that challenge is no longer a challenge. So you know, just understand, like, it's been really difficult. I remember I don't really talk about this a lot. I'm a massive control freak, okay? And those that know me know that I am. And I came from retail management, very strict procedures. And, you know, it was basically, you know, do this, do this, do this. So for the first 3 months of my business, I was like an army officer, I would say. Like, it was literally like, do this, do this, do this. This is what we do. This is what we do. Why aren't you on the calls? You need to do this. Oh my God, you know. And then I was like all having tanties, and, you know, if the whole team wasn't on all the calls, and I'm like, oh my God. Or if people weren't doing exactly what I thought was the best way to do it, And I remember having a call with Linda, and she's gone, Jess, like, you are totally choking the baby. And I've gone, huh? And she's like, let go of the baby. And it was about, it was about one part of my business. It was like, huh. She's like, the biggest gift that you can give anybody is their independence in this business. I'm like, huh, right, okay. So for me, it was like this, oh, okay, I have to actually get over this hurdle of people not doing exactly what I want them to do. Now I'm amazing at it. I'm the best person to just like throw people in the deep end and go, you're awesome, off you go do your thing. Like, I love doing that now, and I've totally embraced it. Like, when people want to go and do something that's different, I'm always still follow the system, okay? Still follow the system. And yeah, but everyone leads differently. Everyone has different strategies, and I understand that now. So that was a challenge for me, and that was at about the 3-month mark. And I seriously thought, oh my God, like, I cried about it, like, because there was all this tension between people. Oh my God. But so if anyone gets to that point, just know that's probably normal as well, especially if you're a control freak like me. So I'm getting better at that. And then, yeah, like, just as things come up, like, every understanding that who you are when you promote to sales coordinator or SDVF, you are going to need to be a different person when you promote to SSC. You're going to be a different person when you get to Q. And you will be. But you need to commit to being, that better version of yourself, a better leader. And, that's one thing that I do every time I set another big, hairy, scary goal, is I sit down and it's one of those things, I sit down and I write down, who do I need to be? Like, who do I need to be to move to the next level of leadership? Because I'm not there now. I'm not that person right now. So what are the values that, what are the things that you're going to live by? Who are you, because if you can consciously go, yep, I'm not doing that. So for me, one of the things was like procrastination. I procrastinate a lot. And for me to move through to NMD and beyond, like, I had to kind of start being more productive with my time. So, that was one of the things for me. So thinking about who do you need to be to move through to the next level and commit to that growth. But just know it's not a matter of if this is going to happen. It is when. That's all. Like, it will happen, but you've got to stay in the game and you've got to be consistent, because the only way that you're going to fail is if you stop, if you quit, if you just go back to doing what you were doing before, yeah. So there you go, Lauren.
I love it. Amazing. You're so full of wisdom. It's all the eyelashes. It comes from those.
Yeah, and I totally combed them for this Zoom call.
She sent me a picture saying I combed them just for you.
Yeah.
Hey, and I was like, oh my God, you made an effort. I've got my pajamas on and a messy bun. I just had a shower. Like, maybe I should go do my hair. 2 more questions before we say goodnight, so you can go put your precious little girl to bed. She's probably asleep under the table as we speak. So I have a lot of girls, on the team, and they're like starting out. And I guess for me, I've never had a problem with recruiting. And I know that you haven't either. So what are your tips and tricks on finding new team members and new customers and having goals around that every month and helping your team with that as well?
Yeah. Well, most people usually have they are either better at recruiting teamies or they're better at customer acquisition. It's usually one or the other. And it would just be, you need to check your beliefs in those things. So you like, are you on all the product? If you're not, if you struggle with customers, are you on all the products? Do you love them? All of that stuff. If you struggle with the business side of things, like, where's your vision at? You've got to have that really rock solid, remember, done deal. Like, get excited. I was having a conversation with someone the other day. Get excited about sharing the opportunity. If you're struggling for people to be, like, if you're going out going, hey, I just started this. I don't know if it's, it's going to work, but, it seems pretty cool. Like, why would people want to join your team if you're not even convinced? Like, why would people do that? You need to be like rock solid, like, oh my God, I've started this. I am so freaking excited. This is what's going to happen. This is where I'm going to be in 12 months. I thought of you because you need to come and take a look. Like, you have to. And like, have that real conviction around sharing the opportunity. All right. But then obviously it's the cycle and the follow-up. So making sure, like, if you're not utilizing events, live events or your Zoom events, like, they are the most powerful resource for converting prospects to team members. If you are not, okay, all right, a little rant here. If you are like saying, I'm struggling to bring on team, if that's you and you are not committing to inviting X amount of people every single day to events, then you're not actually doing that high-paying activity, which is getting people to events. Like, you need to invite lots of people to get one person to an event. They might say they come, but, and it's got to be ongoing. Like, if someone misses an event and they said they'd be there, you call them. You missed an awesome event. But you need to be inviting people to events every day, having that funnel that you're talking to people and you're inviting to an event or a connection call with your sponsor, either or that. Like, they're both great. Live events, I think, kind of give everything that, like, they get everything. They get the product, they get success stories, they get how the business works, they get the culture and the community. And then if you think about how many exposures that would take, like on Messenger or, so yeah, that's right. Events.
I love it. Reiterating it at home. Events are the lifeblood of our business. I just think they're sick of me saying that. So I like to get it from a different perspective. And you hear it all the time from Linda, from Jess, from Adam, from Kira. Like, they do the work for us. Right? If you understand that, like, I do the events, your leaders do the events, all you have to do is invite. It's like the best setup ever. And then one last question before we say goodbye. I don't like feedback. Yeah. Yeah, awesome. So if you were starting out and you're brand new, what is the best piece of advice you would give someone and tips and tricks if they were brand new starting out?
What was that? What was the best bit of advice I would give someone when they're starting?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I would say you've got to think of this. If you, first of all, determine what it is that you want to get out of the business. So if you want a retail business, that's awesome. Go get a few customers, get a bit of pocket money. That's cool. If you want to build an empire, holla. If you want to build a business that's going to pay you residual income, give yourself a pay rise every single month for the rest of your life, then you need to do things a bit differently. Okay, so I explain it like I think it's in GoPro or Jim Rohn or someone explains it like this. Imagine an aeroplane on a runway, and if that plane is not going at like full throttle, 100%, it's not going to get off the ground. Okay? It can't go 80%. Can't go 90%. It has to go 100% to get off the ground. This business is just like that. I would say the first 90 days is where you are pedal to the metal, massive action, and you need to give it 100% for 90 days. What that's going to do is get you off the ground, and then you are able to get to a point where you can go into autopilot, and then you can do another 90 days, go into autopilot for a bit. But what's happening is you're building momentum. Because if you go into this and go, I want to build an empire and I want all the, like the residual income and I want this big business, and you're only doing a little bit, it's going to take a long time to get momentum. All right. So that's what I kind of tell people. Like if they want to, like it's easier if you just hit the ground running and just give it all you've got for 90 days. Guaranteed. If you do this in 90 days and your goal, like set yourself the goal of SC to SSC in that 90 days and just get it done, because then you're going to have some team. It's going to be moving, and then you might be able to, take your foot off the pedal a little bit and then go for another 90 days. Now, 4 lots of 90-day massive action, that will get you to NMD. So think about that. 90 days goes by pretty fast. But that is my advice. It is about getting in there, getting it done, and just being on fire. Get really clear with what you want, first of all, and clear with what needs to happen. So I know I used to just just do like a little goal sheet for myself. And it would be like, let's say it was sales coordinator, and I would have SC by whatever date. And then I would have SDVF with a line, another SDVF with a line, a blank space, and a DVF with a blank space. And then I would have 5 customers with 5 blank spaces for customers. My job was just to fill the blanks. But at least my brain knew what to do, and I could see it all the time. So having something like that and writing a date down is very important as well. And so setting those goals and then taking massive action as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And tell them, how do you take massive action whilst having 2 children and being a mum?
I'm getting better at it. It was a bit hectic.
In the stolen moments, right? Is just, like pick those moments where you're working on your business. But people can scroll through like Facebook for an hour and be like, oh, that's my Juice Plus time. But we know that, that's not building a business, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So massive action is, making sure that you're reaching out to people. And I guess at this point, it's not necessarily that I'm reaching out as much as when I start. When you start, you've definitely got to reach out a lot. Like you've got to get out there and declare yourself open for business. But now it's kind of like everyone knows what I do now. My reaching out is when I meet people, I'm adding people to Facebook, I'm creating conversations, and I think now it's kind of turned where it's more attraction marketing now. Lauren, would you agree?
Correct, yeah.
Where, like people now come to me because I've been consistent long enough that they know that, when they're thinking about a health upgrade, like I'm the first person that they think of. So because I'm in their bubble on social media, they know what I'm doing. But yeah, like it would be, I mean, you've got to think like around kids, it is very hectic, but I keep my calls until after the kids are in bed. I don't schedule calls between 3 and 8. I might do sneaky messages, but I know I cannot get on the call after school because my kids just are absolutely feral in that time frame. But yeah, like you've got to get up earlier. If you get up at 6, you start getting up at 5. If you go to bed at 9, start going to bed at 10. Like you've got to like chunk out some time, carve out time to do this business. Because if you didn't do it before, you can't just go, well, keep doing exactly what you're doing. Like, you need to cut stuff out. Like, what price are you going to pay for what you want? Because that's the thing. You got to figure out what it is that you want, but then what's the price that you're going to pay? Is it cutting out TV? Like, I haven't watched TV since I started this. And to be honest, it doesn't serve me at all, you know, because I would much rather, no, I lied. I did watch Sex and the City movie on Netflix. I did.
That's totally different.
But I totally choose it. Like, when sometimes I just like, you know what, like, I am going to like numb out and just like watch a movie, like whatever, and I don't care. But it isn't like religion to watch, you know, certain TV shows or anything like that. But yeah, you've got to pay a price. What are you going to sacrifice? Because you have to do something, you know.
Love it.
Yeah.
It's so refreshing to hear, like, you know, people could look at you and be like, well, she probably works all day, every day on her business, but, you know, you can't do that when you have children and you have someone else to take care of. So it is awesome to hear that. Thank you so much for your time. I got so much out of that. I know that so many of these awesome people did. I know there was a few questions, but I think I can answer Terry's. So how do you know which one to invite them to? Terry, I'll show you. She's brand new. Literally, like, her franchise details haven't even come through yet. It's just summer training, summer Zoom events. I'll show you that. But everyone else just said you're amazing. You're a warrior princess. And Jay, amazing idea. No, I think so many, definitely. I respect you. I look up to you. I think you're an amazing chick. I know you've got my back and have had for so many times that I've needed it. And same with me to you. And that's what I really want to reiterate, guys. Have a buddy. Yeah, I obviously have buddies within my team, but I can't go downline to bitch and moan when I have a bad day. And Adam's sick of hearing it, probably, to be honest. So find a buddy. And Jess is such an amazing buddy of mine. When we're having a bad day, we send each other snippets of Justin Bieber songs and Snapchats, and that gets us through, changes our mindset. We have a bit of fun. But that's what it's about.
I still believe that if people saw me, like, everyone on your team is probably like, oh my God, is that Jess? Like, hang on a minute, that's a bit different. Like, because I love a filter. And when people see me in real life, they're like, oh my God, you're way different. So my thing is, like, I wish people would just hold the Snapchat, like, hold the phone up and Snapchat.
I wish, yeah. That's why I can't date. It's my excuse for not dating for a while, because I'm like, oh God, if they saw like what I really look like, I'd be like, Jesus.
Oh my God, the one with the flowers on the top, like, amazing. I just want to walk around with that all day. I wish I could just have that filter forever.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And guys, Lauren and I are actually going for 100 Club in the same time. So the challenge is on. I challenge you to be there.
It's like squad. I like it.
Yeah. Giddy up. All right.
I love it. Mwah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Jess.
Ciao.
Okay. I'm going to stop recording.